Good morning, Evrard Didier.
Good morning.
It's this is Yuan. I'm from UK Tsinghua Association, living in the UK for over a decade now. I'm a Secretary General of UK Tsinghua Association. Shen Wei, who is one of our artists, exhibited in our last year collective UK art exhibition show run by UK Tsinghua Association. And his work received really positive feedbacks from both collectors and visitors to our exhibition. It is with great honor and pleasure to interview you regarding the recent multi-creation by Shen Wei on 15th of March in Guimet Museum in Paris. So first of all, would you please, from your unique vantage point, give us a brief introduction to our audience about your role in the. I know you have been really involved critical roles in both art as well as finance, but just a quick, brief introduction about yourself and your view on what arts in society, particularly contemporary arts in society and civilization's role would be great.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think that your French is improving, as you mentioned Didier, which is exactly, the good name. I just want to say that
Thank you.
I had different type of activities in my life, and the banking and finance activity, and which gave me the opportunity, the possibility to go to Asia for a certain period of time. And I spent 11 years in Asia, mostly in what we can call the Chinese environment, in Taiwan, and after that in Hong Kong, and after that in Singapore. And in Singapore, I was the head of, for this French bank, for all Asia except for Japan for 6 years. So I tried to understand at that time the difference between the extremely important Chinese civilization and the Western civilization as well. And that was extremely important, to see the difference and try to understand the difference between the two civilizations. And on the other side, I was always fond of art.
Yes.
I am a collector, more specifically on contemporary art. And I was a member of, in the bank I've been working with, member of the foundation of this bank Paribas, and helping at that time a lot of artists, and trying to fund as well some art institution. And after that, I was the advisor also of the Pompidou Center, which is the Museum of Modern Art of France, for its development in Asia. And more specifically, we try, to have a project in Hong Kong, but which didn't work for political reasons, but in Shanghai as well. And Pompidou Center right now, the Museum of Modern Art of France is already now in Shanghai. And after that, I became the chairman of the École nationale des beaux-arts de Paris, which is the fine art top school university in France, just in the middle of Paris. I stayed there for 6 years and tried to understand, how the students, they were creative and why they have been doing that with quite important teachers. And after that, I became the chairman of the National Center for Graphism and posters and design, and in Chaumont, which is an important city, not very far from Paris, in east part of France. We have a huge collection of posters. We have 45,000 posters.
Wow.
Which is extremely important indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And every 2 years, we have a prize to be given to poster project. And this year, we received 1,500 projects from all the world of posters. And we gave 5 prizes. Finally, I mean, to some either coming from France, from Europe, also from Asia, from China, designers. So I just come back from that. It was a pretty good success. In 1 weekend, we received 18,000 people, and that's it. So it's a mix between banking, finance, and art.
Wow, that's really impressive. Also, from your unique perspective, it can be really insightful to hear your view on multi things, which as we have the art and finance world more and more interconnected nowadays. And also, congratulations on your success on the most recent Biennale. So the second question is regarding how your view, because as we step into a world slightly changing compared with the last few decades, where the globalization is a main trend, but right now we're into a more, I would say, more facilitated world, and the factors to look into both art and finance are different. So in order to really maintain the value and the impact of the contemporary art in society, so what is your view for the contemporary art is necessary to be important, to be relevant and creative?
I think that you have 2 questions. I mean, in this part of the interview, you mentioned the mixing between the finance and art, which is causing some issues on the art creation indeed. And that's one point. The second point, which is much more, which is broader, is the art situation in our societies and civilization.
Yeah.
And I think that for that part, the art is the most important part in the evolution of societies and civilization. This is what, in fact, is remaining after the civilization or societies disappear. I mean, this is, for instance, in the Western world, indeed, this is what happened with Egypt. After that, I mean, what is left, I mean, in Egypt is this is what we can see. I mean, the pyramids or whatever. This is art. Mm-hmm. This is the Greece as well. Mm-hmm. The art was extremely important, and this is what was left with indeed philosophy. Mm-hmm. But from that important civilization, this was the case for the Rome. After that, I'm talking about the Western world, and what is remaining is art. And after that, you have the Renaissance rebirth in Italy, and this is what is remaining from that. And art, for all these civilization societies, they describe what were the men thinking and of this civilization, in fact. So I think that the most important in a society is art creation. I don't want to mention one philosopher that I like very much, mm-hmm. who is Friedrich Nietzsche. I don't know if you have heard about, mm-hmm. I guess so. And Nietzsche said, after we destroy all gods, the only thing which remain is art.
Yeah. Well, that's a really really good comments, and it's really inspiring. Like in your, so one of the thing I noticed that you have extensive experience not only just as the impact leading figure on the design and art and the museums, but also in education. So how do you see, like, regarding this part, education's role in this going forward? Because as the world is changing, the role of art, the relevance of art also needs to be redefined and also needs to be figured out by the everyone in this industry. But in the same time, education also is quite important to bring in new ideas and new blood. And how do you see this education wise as a leading figure in this area to be more relevant and impactful globally?
The key points, to understand, how the contemporary art is moving. That the artists, they are extremely creative people indeed. They are much ahead of our society, and very often, they are not. People, they don't understand what these very creative artists they want to say. The point is not. They really understand much better than us what is going to happen in 5, 10, 20, 30 years. Yeah. But the problem is that the people, they don't really understand, the new creation of artists. And very often, they don't agree with that. And that's a major issue for an artist. I just want to mention, for instance, in France, I don't know if you heard about the Buren, for instance, yes, in the Palais Royal. When he put all these columns from its creation, nobody want to understand that, and everybody has been rejecting this. It was the same for the Louvre pyramid, and it is always the same with new creation. There is a kind of negative reaction from the people. And for instance, when you see Impressionism at the end of 19th century or beginning of 20th century. Well, of course. Was, we are talking about Monet, Manet, all the great artists, okay? At the time that they started their creation, people, they thought that their creation was absolutely not interesting. And at that time, they don't even, try to buy this fantastic art. And so that's the problem of the contemporary art and the comprehension of the society in front of contemporary art. And this is something that I saw when I discussed with the new artist to be the student in École des beaux-arts. And I think the questions were extremely interesting, but they said that nobody wants to understand what we are doing. At the time that they were in advance for 10 years, 20 years, for the society evolution to come. And that's very important. The second thing is there is a danger of mixing finance and art. And you have two tendencies, if I can say, on what we call the art market. First of all, you have the people try to understand what the artist want to say and try to understand if he is bringing something which is new and interesting compared with the past. That's very important. And that's one thing. The other part, too many people, they are considering art like an investment. Yes. And that's it's a big mistake. Because if you want to buy an art, contemporary art, to make some added value within 2 or 3 years, is really wrong and give very bad signals to the market. And that is something which expands right now, and more specifically through internet, whatever. All these people, they try. I don't want to mention traders or these kind of people. Yes. They have absolutely no culture, no understanding of what happened before with art and how the contemporary art can bring something new, which is the most interesting part. Okay, and they are speculative. And this is a speculative move. And that is something that it's really bad. And I just want to mention that if you try to understand, contemporary art, and this happened every century. If you see, for instance, the Renaissance in Italy, which was extremely important indeed. This is a big change, and I'm not mentioning Paolo Uccello or Leonardo da Vinci, whatever. At that time, people they don't understand why they have a totally new view on art creation compared with what happened with Middle Age. And if you don't have what we call mécène, with the financing power, and to help this artist, this cannot go through. And right now, the mécène is more and more a kind of speculative type of attitude, which is on the long term, on the medium term, long term, very bad. So we to try to really understand why an artist can create that way, and try to bring something new, which will be accepted in 10, 20 years of time.
That's a really important 2 points regarding the danger of the convolution between finance and art. I think as also a person with background in finance, but also run an art exhibition, I'm one of the typical example to confess about my attitude towards art was initially indeed treated as an alternative investment, now started to appreciate the creation of the artist from running this art exhibition. And what you mentioned is really important is that the transcendence nature of the art is not only directly touching regarding the people's feelings, but it's also inspire and forward. Is actually ahead of the time. So that thing really making the threshold for people to appreciate contemporary art has a little bit higher compared with other much easier like a subject. But in the same time, it's also transcend the language and transcend some of the words or logics. It can directly touching people. So it's really powerful tools, but as you mentioned, like mission or pioneers, which financial means must do something to help the artist or art industry to preserve this creativity in the society, and not only through education, but also through communication, through much better products or much better works in the art. So one of the work we recently saw from Shen Wei's multi-creation is just one of that contemporary combination of paintings, of choreography, as well as the visual effects all together and music, making it a composition or symphony in a contemporary art sense. And from that, it's also not only it's quite a mixture of different ways, but it's also a mixture of different cultures. As an international artist, contemporary artist with Chinese heritage, but spent decades in the West, in New York, as well as now spend more and more times in Europe. His view of the world, by definition and by his work, we can see is quite different compared with traditional mainland Chinese artists or traditional artists in New York. So it's quite a unique artist, and his work has his own language speak for him. So regarding that, let's come to Shen Wei's work, and how do you see so I was there in Guimet Museum on the 14th. I'm pretty sure you were there as well.
I was there as well.
So I was really
neighbor, so.
yes, yes, yeah, yes. I was really touched by his work on that day with the atmosphere there, and everyone was so quiet. So it was a full house. So I just want to grasp first the impression from you on this multi-creation by Shen Wei, and then we dive into a little bit further on other aspects of this.
Yeah, okay. Before I'm talking about that, I just want to say that the most important part for the art creation is the freedom. The freedom for the artist, I mean, to do what they want to do, to create what they want to create. And that's in history. A lot of artists, they had a lot of problem with totalitarian type of countries, like for instance USSR, and they were obliged, I mean, to leave USSR, I mean, for creating their new works. It was the same issue in Germany during the Nazis time, where you see that they even, I mean, have an exhibition on what they consider degenerative art. I don't know if you saw that. And that's extremely important, I mean, to mention that to have a real contemporary art which counts and which is new, you need to have freedom in the country, I mean, to allow these artists to create new things and after to be understood after 10 or 20 years. But the freedom in creation is extremely important, and that we have to look into that, because in some countries, artists, they have no freedom, I mean, to do what they want to do.
Yeah,
that's a major point. It's a major point. I don't want to discuss more about that, because we are going to go into, I mean, some political views, but it's a key. Regarding Shen Wei.
Absolutely. On your that point, which is really important, so we can stay there a little bit longer before we directly dive into Shen Wei. So so as you mentioned, we step a little bit into the political world, the topics regarding freedom and how the interaction between the political system or political power, which is quite rigid compared with the art, which require by nature the creation require freedom for inspiration, for experiments, and for a lot of things, just basically for the art. However, it's never, these two words never disconnected. Like even in previously, let's look at a little bit earlier, just after World War II, and how the difference between the France and the US on leveraging art industry as a significant software or significant ways for their own impact globally. And can you elaborate on that a little bit before we dive into Shen Wei?
Yes, I mean, for the first part of the 20th century, France was one of the key countries regarding art. This is where we had Impressionism, and after abstract, and after the Second World War, many quite important artists. At the same time, USA, they have developed, and more specifically because of the war, we had a lot of European artists. They were obliged, I mean, to leave Europe and to go to the United States. A lot. And this has been a kind of mix between the American artists and European artists. And after that, I don't want to say that the American art took the power, I mean, it's very important to see that this is a correlation between a country which is becoming a very important country in the world. And this is coming with I don't want to mention the power, but indeed, I mean, the American society, after they have been winning the war, have been the center for economic, financial,
of course,
but also cultural side, but also with a very open eye on contemporary art. Why? Because, in fact, they had not this very profound, deep history in art like we had, for instance, in France. I mean, since the Renaissance, or Italy even before. And they were much, they were free to understand and more open to understand, I mean, the new creative art.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the reason why of the American art at that time, which I like very much, was in fact, I mean, much more developing in the world
mm-hmm.
than our European art. On top of that, I mean, they have been funding with funds,
yes,
with very important international art galleries. I mean,
yes.
And that's, I think this is the story, because what, if you see, I mean, the different centuries, you have a very important positioning of Italian art during the Renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, you have the French art. Mm-hmm. After, you have the American art. But in parallel, you have what happened in China as well.
Yes.
I mean, the traditional art, like calligraphy, whatever. Mm-hmm. And after that, but with some influence of the American art, you have the new artist from China, very creative.
Yes.
And after that, also in Asia, I mean, in Korea, for instance, yes. You have a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's I mean, Asian time is coming as well.
Wow, that's a really great summary of a very long history and what happens, and it's a clear view on how the intercorrelation between art, politics as well as culture. So just basically just justified what you mentioned earlier regarding the openness provided by the United States after World War II is actually a major earth for the new arts and the new artists to be very creative and to be impactful, alongside with the means of nations who have financial means to support this, and the famous art gallery to helping this created this process. Yes. And as you mentioned, indeed, currently we have this the economy in Asia also growing relatively fast in the world, which is a very vivid region with many new things coming up and innovation as well as quite creative thing on business. But also in the same time, we see the impact of art exhibition, like in Freeze, in the Free Seoul or Kiev in South Korea, in Japan, as well as in China, particularly like Hong Kong and Shanghai. More and more art exhibitions, like this year's Art Basel, has the highest number compared with all the previous years for attendees, as well as the works sold, which is a very important sign for the gaining momentum as well as attention by the Asian artists as well as Asian art industry. So on that sense, I think it's a good time we now dive into Shen Wei's work. So now let's look at Shen Wei, who is an artist with Chinese heritage, but has been traveling around the world and has been a leading figure in choreography, dancing, opera, as well as a very good painter and a writer himself. So, his work in Guimet this time not only has his own created and directed dancing, which we know that it's very high end of the quality, but also we saw his painting on the projected big screen, as well as his words, which was a poem in Chinese. So all this combination with the music, the classical music by an English writer was really making the whole atmosphere in Guimet on that night really touching, moving, and also inspiring for me as an audience to think and to feel and to reflect on myself, my view towards the world, nature, human being, and the meaning of life. It's quite a deep touch directly by a relatively short period, concentrated period in a few hours in the theater. So how do you feel about Shen Wei's artistic journey? Began between the with this multi-creation, dancing, painting, photography, video, and music, and how do you view his role, this multi-creation in a very important museum, Guimet Museum in Paris, and we can start there. How about we start there?
Yeah. I have one point first, and which I'm very interested in. I mean, to see how it's going to move. I just would like to know if Chinese people, I mean China, they think that the new creative contemporary art is definitely, it will be definitely a part of the Chinese art, or is it too different to be considered as a Chinese art? That's a very major point, in fact. For instance, I mean, I just want to mention, for instance, Hai Weiwei, that you know very well.
Yeah.
Is he going to be considered as a real Chinese artist in the year to come or not? Or is he going to be considered as an artist to be too much influenced by Western art? That's a key point right now.
Yes.
And I have a personal experience. I knew very well Zhao Wuji. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, he spent a lot of time in France. Yeah.
Yeah.
Previously.
He was obliged to leave Shanghai.
Yeah.
For different reasons. I don't want to mention too much, but
yeah.
He was a very good calligrapher.
Yes.
So traditional painter for China. And he came to France, and he saw all these new painters, I mean, like Picasso, whatever, Cubism. And he became a bridge between China and Western art. I knew him very well. I have some works from him, in fact, here. And he was a very nice person. But we had a lot of discussion about that. I mean, how to be the bridge between China and what could become the contemporary art of China and the Western world. And this is exactly what Shen Wei is as well. Yes. Not only as a painter, but also, I mean, as a choreographer, as a writer, as a dancer. And what I mean, the discussion we had, and we saw during the Guimet performance. After that, I mean, I had this kind of discussion, and to say that, and he's right to say that we have two different types of societies.
Yes.
Between Asia, mostly in China, and Western world. Which is that in China, this is the society, which is the most important, the social link, which is the most important. I mean, this is Confucius, whatever, okay? On the other side, this is the reason why, I mean, he has been traveling a lot between China and Western world. I mean, the two different parts of the Western world, which is the French one on one side and the American one on the other side, and which are much more individualistic type of societies. And what is very interesting in his dancing choreography, that he tried, to have a balance between the two.
Yes.
And that's the key.
Yes.
And this shows that Shen Wei is not only a dancer, but he is also a thinker.
Yes.
And this is the reason why we have been discussing a lot together. And this is very easy because we are neighbor. He's living on top of my apartment here in the Palais Royal. And I think he's totally right. To translate into the choreography, into the dancing, the two different features of the two major civilizations.
Yes.
That's very important. And the other point, because I'm extremely keen on looking into this major difference, is the transcendence. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
With transcendence?
Of course.
The thing that I've been discovering, I discovered, when I came the first time in Asia, was a big difference between the two civilizations, that there is no, for me, not really transcendent sign in the Chinese philosophy or the Chinese way to be, compared with the Western world, where you have transcendence, which means God, even if you don't believe in it.
We actually have one.
Sorry?
We have.
God?
Yes, we have.
In China? No.
Yes, we have a mythology, and there are
I have the impression, to have the same discussion that I have with Shen Wei. You have gods.
We have. It's slightly different. It is so I must interrupt. Sorry about that. But we do have God. So the gods are not a religious god, but it also the way of Chinese culture describe where we come from. So it's also the philosophical way of traditional, very very long time Asian Chinese people trying to figure out like Pangu, who is a creator of China of the world, who divides the light and heavy, who divides the dark and the white from the world. So he came from chaos. And then later there was Nuwa, who basically creates all the human beings. So we do have a series of God previously, before we have these feudalism empires and dynasties. But because the historical reason, we have different regime, particularly after the Industrial Revolution, the productivity as well as the civilization process of China was a little bit slower compared. Basically, the East was slower compared with the West, such that for very long time, for the last almost 100 years, century, what Chinese society, all the civilization was trying to do was trying to catch up, to learn. First to learn, and then now I think you are absolutely right. Is the key question is indeed about the Chinese artists, whether they will stay in mainly influenced by the Western philosophy, Western way of looking at contemporary art, or they trying to find what they, as Chinese heritage artists, trying to find out, and as even better as a bridge between the West and the East. So sorry to interrupt, but we do have gods, but not the religious gods, but they do create.
No, I don't really follow you. And I had a very interesting discussions again with Shen Wei, because he's a very religious person, in fact. Not religious in a way that he believes in one religion, no, but he is very fond of the different religions.
Mm-hmm.
And each time that, for instance, he had been in Tibet, for instance, and
yes,
he was amazed by the attitude of the what we call the bonds over there.
Yes.
In Paris, for instance, he's going very often to, you know, the Cathedral Notre Dame.
Yes, of course.
He's going there, and this is it does not mean that he believes in, because there is a Catholic and Christian religion there, but he is very impacted by the religious feeling that you can have when you go to a cathedral, when you go to a temple, and his target should be, to try, to put all the religion together, and that is going to be hard work, I think.
Yes, it's very difficult. I saw one of his work there.
But this is very interesting. But this is extremely important, even in even during the performance that he had in Guimet. We can see that during the dancing, the choreography with the Angkor Wat.
Yes.
Angkor Wat is coming from the Buddhism, in fact.
Yes.
And he was extremely interested by this religious, in fact, because when you go to Angkor Wat, I've been there, many times, you have a kind of religious feeling. He told me that as well. He has been, which I have not been, and I regret that. I hope to do that soon. He went to Jerusalem, and he told me that he had a feeling, a very special feeling in Jerusalem of what happened indeed, with the Christ, whatever.
Yes.
So he's a kind of religious person, even if he's not belonging to one religion. And that's very important, I think, in his work. But regarding the transcendence, I don't totally agree with you, because you had a gods, Gods, okay, which means many gods. We have one God, and the situation is totally different. I don't think that Chinese, they believe that you have one God who has been creating earth, and like, for instance, I'm Catholic or Christian. No, you have gods. But the most important part, for me, to understand what is the Chinese civilization, is the positioning of human being with the nature. And that's very important. And that's something which can be brought from China to us, because nature is becoming more and more important indeed, in that issue of climate, whatever. And the most important part, I think, that for Chinese, is try to understand how nature evolves, okay, and to be more on board in the nature, okay, and to accompany the move of nature. And that's, I think, this is a major point to try to in the Chinese philosophy.
Yeah. So
go a little bit, maybe too far from.
Next time I'm visiting Paris, I must try to have a coffee or visiting you, as you live so close to Shen Wei.
We can do that together. But Alexander is traveling around quite a lot.
Yes.
And I like very much Shen Wei.
Yes. Likewise.
Because really he's a thinker. He's a thinker, but with a big heart. Yes. And that's very important.
Absolutely.
And what I would like to, starting from Guimet, what I would like to do is try, to organize, much bigger performance for him in France, because he loves France. It's quite interesting, because we love the same countries in Europe. Love France, he loves Italy like me. And he is very interested in the USA, but also is critical for different aspects of this society, American society. And at the same time, he's also Chinese. So it's difficult, to have to try to integrate all this, but I think that he's quite successful in integrating all this in his heart.
Also, as an immigrant myself, I have a Chinese background, heritage, and living in the UK. I can relate.
That's a mistake. You should come in France.
I visit France a lot. I'm coming in July as well. But I do relate to resonate with Shen Wei's work, as we all have the other person's perspective. So that's a unique angle for us when we look at things, what's happening, because we are away from the hometown, the motherland. Then we see our motherland from afar, but also because we are immigrants, we are foreigners coming from a complete different culture and society, from the east to the west. In New York, at Shen Wei, in Paris, for me in London, we do see the society from a different perspective from the local inhabitants. That gave us a little bit more chance, or give us a little bit more like angle to really reflect on the differences between the East and West, and also between from both, not only just business side, but also our society side, but also culture side, and even like religious side, our mythology side. In Chinese culture, yeah, the Chinese appear to be Confucius, which is the most well-known globally, but also there are multiple different schools of philosophy, including Taoism, where you have this yin and yang. You can observe that from Shen Wei's work as well, and also we have other like the more like the legal part, the fa jia, which is Hanfei's, who emphasize on the rigid part of the society and political power. So there are many different schools of philosophy in China, in ancient China. But that has been quietly, implicitly impacting all Chinese thinking, basically, together with communism. So this long history, because it's never disconnected. So the Chinese people you see today is actually the same group of Chinese people you would see like 3,000 years ago. So the whole race has been continually adaptive and evolving to the new world. And sometimes they are the leading culture or the leading civilization, such that they dominate. So other civilizations, when they come to China, they merge into the previous traditional like Chinese, like Qing dynasty, like previous Ming dynasty, like feudalism time of China. But then later China become the using Ridellio's word, the decaying power, or the relatively lower compared with the new civilization. So it's trying to learning, picking up on the way that what were the most advantaged civilization has been, and how to understand. So from my perspective, I would really characterize a lot of previous attempt by Chinese contemporary artists that they trying to figure out how to understand the Western contemporary art from a Chinese perspective. But Shen Wei, I think he is one step further. Not only just he understood like what the contemporary art in the West is, but he also see how to bridge the contemporary art from the West with the traditional Chinese philosophy and traditional Chinese culture in the East, trying to bring them together. So what you mentioned about bridge, I think is a fantastic word to use on Shen Wei's work as well. so that part I really agree. And on the transcendence, as you mentioned, like Shen Wei creates this powerful bridge between the tangible historical reality of Angkor Wat, which is a Cambodian. It's not really in China. It's quite Asian based, and has a different artistic resonance compared with traditional Chinese art. And this also illustrates the vital role of this art keeping cultural heritage alive and relevant. So how do you see future with Shen Wei's role, as you mentioned, it will be great to see a much larger, bigger show in Guimet with his new work. So how do you see Shen Wei's this unprecedented performance, blending like dancing, painting, photography, and choreography, will be impact on France community or France society? Because you, as a leader in art education and cultural critic as yourself, do you see the meaning of the relevance of Shen Wei's work to the local community?
Yes, indeed. I think he can bring a lot by his works, indeed. And this is the reason why I would like to, because that's quite a surprising thing for me. It's, for instance, he's creating painting only in France because he feels much better here in the place that we are living right now. He's not creating in US. He's not creating in painting in China. So I think that there is a kind of feeling between what more specifically what he's doing in painting, which I like very much, and this is very diverse what he is doing, which means that he's very creative, which is very important for an artist indeed, not to stick to the same style. And this is one of the reasons why I think that we should do something together, and to make some very important. I know that he has been doing performance in US, for instance, and in China as well. I think what is missing is to have a bigger performance, and in France, in Paris. So
even in London.
Sorry?
Even in London.
Yes, but I think that Paris is much more important than London.
We can disagree and agree on that.
Traditional in Europe, you have always, this triangle between the three major countries, which is France, Germany, and British. And we are always playing this kind of
Yes, I can feel that.
Okay.
On that, I'm totally fine to agree on disagreement with who is important, who is more important. Yeah, but France, I love to visit Paris, and I really,
come back.
Yeah, we do.
No, I think that when it's going to be back, I think that we have a lot of now, which is a bit the American style, but we have a lot of foundation now in France. We have the Cartier Foundation, for instance, which is coming soon to be close to us. To open the very important foundation. You have the Pinot collection. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yes.
Which is close to us as well. He is a fantastic, important collector. He's in Venice as well, and unfortunately, the Property Center is going to close the door of the Museum of Modern Art because of renovation, and for 1 or 2 years, that's not good news. But I think this is necessary. But we have to find, with maybe the opera as well,
yes,
which is very well known, and we have to find a way for Shen Wei.
That would be fantastic. I really look forward to see next show of Shen Wei in Paris. And I'm pretty sure you will be instrumental in the process to make it happen. Which I
will try.
Yeah. So, and before we heading off, I just want to express the gratitude and the thank you to your time, Evrard, and also Evrard. Also, your thank you. I must learn France. I must learn French. So
it's a beautiful language, by the way.
Yes, it sounds beautiful, and every time I'm in Paris, I enjoy listening to France.
Shen Wei also, I mean, in learn French, told me that this is not easy language.
It is not, particularly as people from the east, right? But I really appreciate your time. And whenever, if you have planned to come to London or UK, please feel free to let me know. It would be great to welcome you here.
Time to time, yes.
Yes. London is also a beautiful place, a slightly different style compared with Paris. And least but not last but not least, do you have a final word towards our audience, who will mainly be our Chinese? I think someone relative to Tsinghua University, like our alumni or our students or our like professors.
No, I think that thank you very much to give me the opportunity. I mean, to have this deep discussion about art. And I absolutely believe that art is a key bridge between the civilizations. And I'm still working on that. And I do hope that for the artists, for the students, it's a way to understand the difference between major civilizations, like the Asian, more specifically Chinese, and the Western world. And if we can together, I mean, build a bridge between the two, this is what Shen Wei tried to do. I think it's going to be a very big success.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Didier, for your time and your insightful comments.
In Paris.
Yeah, I will let you know. Thank you. Okay. Cheers. Bye-bye. Okay.